Eurorack is full of filters, and most of them fall into a couple of schools of thought. You've got the Moog ladder filter, which is all warmth and buttery tone. It's your jazz pianist, smoothing over the edges, making everything glide. Then there are the CEM-based filters. Use chips like the AS3320 chip, used in modules like the Dual Dagger. These are your lab coats, tight controlled, surgical in the way they carve out frequency. But Mörser, the new module from Djupviks, isn't part of that polite conversation. It's based on the Wasp filter, notorious for instability and filth. Jonas from Djupviks studied clone after clone and said, let's go dirtier. You get stereo filtering with a shared frequency cutoff, but independent resonance, giving you either stereo harmony or a bit of chaos. Each channel has its own gain control, and these are crucial because signal strength shapes the sound. Quiet in, you get murky movement. Loud in, you get total rupture. Then there's the heart of the beast, a clocked digital noise source. Normalled into both the audio and CV ins, it makes clicks, chirps, Morse code, even full-on audio textures, all without external input. Rounding it out, we've got these two distortion outputs with switches for low pass, band pass and high pass that give some really interesting added textures to the module. This isn't just a filter, it's a sound source, a modulator, and a chaos machine. Let's dive in. Okay, so we're going to start somewhere unusual. The clocked digital noise source, as I mentioned, is normal to both the CV and the input, So what we're going to do first is we're going to hear what the noise source sounds like. So fully counterclockwise, the probability is down at 0, so you don't hear anything. Whereas up here, obviously you've got audio rate. Now there's some sweet spots here. So here you can hear the noise source kind of clicking and popping. Now I've got the resonance turned down to 0. And the filter is just manually controlled here. Get some really cool effects, And if I turn the CV up, the noise source is acting as both, the clocked digital noise is acting as both the noise source and the modulation. So if I turn it up, you just get that pleasing kind of white noisy sound. Off, nothing. And then just at about 10 o'clock there, you get this interesting chaos. Now the reason I wanted to show this first is because I think it's important to think about when we're adding audio to Mörser, how we're going to use this to really chaosify, if that's a word, the sounds we're putting in and how to really mess with the filter. In the most filters you'll use, modulation. You'll take something like the Djupviks tangram and kind of wobble it around, or you'll take an envelope and have it follow your audio waveform. But Mörser, it's great to always think about how you can use the internal noise source to mess with things. Plus it just sounds fun. Let's add a bit of resonance there as well. If you're on headphones, you can hear the stereo filtering now. There's just that little bit of separation which creates that really interesting stereo effect. So now I've got some audio in. So I've got a sawtooth wave from the analogue cycle 5, which is just off camera, going into tangrams from IntelliGel, which is acting as the envelope. And input 1 is normaled into input 2, so if I've only got one input, the stereo filter is splitting the signal across the two filters. So let's just have a listen to that. Let's introduce some resonance. It's a lovely moment in Wasp filters about there. Just kind of, it's almost, the sound's almost kind of creaking through, and you get these little bass rumbles. Just going to turn up the resonance a bit higher. And then right up to the top. Here you can hear Mörser's real, like, crazy instability. I think that sounds really cool. It's going to start to modulate the frequency cutoff independently a bit. Speed up that LFO. Now remember what we said about the inputs. If we take that down, we get a much cleaner sound, even though we've got the resonance turned up high. We just take out the LFO so you can hear that. Sorry, let me take both of the inputs down. Now it's much more musical, kind of singy on the resonance. I realise it's a bit quieter. Whereas if you start to push it, you can hear the difference. Right, instead of giving it a modulation source from an LFO, I'm going to give it the envelope. So this is just the same envelope. Just pull the resonance down a little bit. Pull that CV right up. So every time the envelope is firing, there you go. Every time the envelope is firing, you hear the filter open and close. You can really hear that chaos. Let's have a listen to how that sounds out of the bandpass filters. You're going to get that more chewy, kind of almost phasery sound. Turn down the inputs a bit. Yeah, that's that kind of like classic bandpass resonance sound. Bit of wub. Turn it up. There comes the instability again. Love it. Right, just on this simple synth line, what we're going to try next is, let me just reset everything. We're going to try, let's stay on bandpass. We're going to try using the clocked digital noise source as CV to the frequency cutoff. Ha. Now if we go right up, you get this kind of, you kind of can hear the noise almost. It's almost like adding a noise source to an oscillator at that point. And then if you turn the attenuation down, you still get the noise source, but obviously the filter stays a bit more closed. And just to give you an idea of how that sounds with and without, I think that's a really interesting effect. With, without. Go fully attenuated. With and without. Now let's go find our sweet spot. This is where you get the Morse code blitz. So, just about there, you can hear it kind of coming in and out. It's really interesting. Let's turn up the resonance. Just on one side. And let's switch to low pass on the right hand side. So there you get a really interesting stereo effect. So no resonance and low pass on the right hand side, and on the left hand side I've got full resonance and band pass. Then I'm just going to take the noise and just push it. And then I get into the squashy squelchy there, and then just bring it down again. That's really cool. Okay, let's dive into these distortion outputs. Okay, so now we have different waveform, different sequence, but we've got the outputs coming out of the distorted outputs. And here we've got low pass, band pass, high pass. Now, I think it's fun to use these, again, with some stereo difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do low pass on the left, high pass on the right. And you can see, even with the audio input at around 12 o'clock, you can hear that distortion. If I just compare that with the standard output, you can hear what's going on. Okay. That's all very well and good, but the point of these distortion outputs is just how well they work with the resonance and the noise. So I'm going to have a play around, firstly introducing some resonance. Some fun distortion there, you can find some great sweet spots. You pull in some of the envelope CV there. And then just push the volume. And then let's push the resonance up to full. Let's go band pass for a change. Then back to low and high. Right. Let's pull that resonance back down to about halfway. And let's instead use the digital noise as the CV modulation. To the frequency cutoff. I don't want to speak for Jonas, but this is how the filter was meant to be used. What I've done now is taken the noise output and used it as the input to the right hand side of the stereo. So I've turned this right down. You'll hear that that's just the noise source. See, even there with an open filter, just get this nice readiness coming. This nice kind of, it really excites a kind of otherwise quite a standard arpeggio. So that completes our basic exploration of the Djupviks Mörser module. True to form, I think this is one of Eurorack's most interesting, unique and cool sounding stereo analog filters, and I'm excited to see Jonas from Djupviks bring his gritty, chaotic aesthetic to more stereo modules. I'll be releasing another video next week showcasing the Mörser used in patches with some of the other Djupviks modules, but also with some different audio sources, some drones and pads and whatnot. Mörser is available to buy as a kit from Thonk in the UK and Europe, from Synthcube and Modular Addict in the US, and Synthcube will be stocking some pre-built versions soon as well. Thanks everyone for listening.